What is up, ladies and gentlemen? But most of all, you ladies out there, thanks for clicking on another episode of Break the Silence. I am your host, Cyborg. Tyler Herro just got the bag. Let's talk about it. Split cow! I am so pumped to talk some NBA basketball because we are 2 weeks away from the start of the regular season. As I'm recording this, it's October 4th. You might see it on a different date, but the regular season starts October 18th on a Tuesday. So mark your calendars. We're almost there, so get hype. And we're going to talk about a team today that I haven't got a chance to discuss a whole lot this offseason because they didn't make a whole lot of moves. But we're going to talk about them before this upcoming season. The Miami Heat, they signed Tyler Herro, extended Tyler Herro to a 4-year, $130 million deal. And at face value, that kind of seems like a lot for Tyler Herro. So we're going to break this down a little bit. We're going to break down Tyler Herro's game. We're going to talk about his value to the Heat and what I expect from the Miami Heat this season. And I'm super pumped to do so because the East is going to be a dogfight. So when we're talking about these teams, they can't all be the number one seed. They all can't make it out of the East. Some of these teams are going to have to be a little worse. Some of them are going to be a little better. So we're going to talk about it. First, please take a second to like and subscribe. Before my last video, we were under 400 subscribers. We zoomed past that after that Suns video, and we're on the road to 500. So please take a second to like and subscribe. I am so thankful for all your support. Been loving the videos, been loving the feedback and getting into discussions with y'all. So please take a second to like and subscribe. We'll keep growing, keep grinding as the season starts. So Tyler Herro, last year was the 6th man of the year. He averaged 20.7 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, I mentioned the contract, 4 years, $130 million. A lot of people thought that was a little high for Tyler Herro. The thing you got to remember when you're looking at this, and it's something I talked about with the CJ McCollum contract, that the salary cap is expected to jump 8.3% is what teams have been told next season. So when you're looking at these contracts, you got to remember that contracts are going to continue to rise. They're just going to keep going up because of that salary cap jump. So when you see a contract that seems hefty, the 4-year, $130 million, which comes to 30, what is that, 2.5? My math might be off. 32.5, I think, is the math there, but $32.5 million a year. You got to remember, salary cap is going to jump. So a guy like Dame Lillard, in I think 3 years from now, is making $60 million a year. But again, salary cap will rise, and this contract won't seem so crazy then. This is a very important deal for the Miami Heat, as Tyler Herro is their second main shot creator, almost ball handler. And you see it in some of the analytics. And I don't want to get too deep into the analytics. I really enjoy them myself, so I at least want to mention them here. Tyler Herro, his usage rate in the pick and roll ball handle handler. So he does a majority of his damage as the pick and roll ball handler, primarily playing with Bam Adebayo, another stud. Miami Heat have a good roster. If you're looking at it, they have Kyle Lowry, Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, Victor Oladipo, and then who's Dwayne Dedman. I think they got a couple other guys that might see the floor a little bit, but those are kind of their primary players on the Miami Heat. Tyler Herro is a big part of their shot creation because you don't get that from a whole lot of the other guys. A lot of those guys are specialists. When you're talking about Bam, he's a great screen setter, roll to the basket guy who doesn't necessarily create his own offense. Jimmy Butler can create his own offense, and that's the number one guy for the Miami Heat in their usage rate. But what we see from the Miami Heat is that they're an excellent defensive team, but when their offense breaks down a little bit, that's when you see them really struggle and lose games, which last year they were 53-29 and lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Boston Celtics. In fact, they lost on a last-second shot, very well could have made the NBA Finals. So they're right on the precipice of being that team. Now, they did lose PJ Tucker this offseason, and I think that's a significant loss because he oftentimes could guard the other team's best player or second best player to give Jimmy Butler a little bit of rest to where Jimmy Butler could handle that offensive load. Tyler Herro was hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals, so Tyler Herro didn't play in that, and maybe he would have moved the needle to where they won there. So, and I'm kind of getting off track here, but back to Tyler Herro. He's a pretty poor defender, but as far as offensive ability, pick and roll ball handling, 30% usage rate. In comparison, his next highest was catch and shoot, was about 15% usage rate. So when you're looking at that, he's almost always the primary ball handler in the pick and roll. That's a big deal when you're talking about offenses in the NBA that are so predicated on either a 5-out system or the pick and roll. Pick and roll, whether that's the Spain pick and roll, traditional pick and roll, pick and pop, all sorts of things like that when you're talking about offenses in the NBA. Tyler Herro is the ball handler with that. And when you have Bam Adebayo on the court, you can't really play that 5-out offense as much because Bam is not an elite shooter. Jimmy Butler's not really a great shooter either. But that's where Tyler Herro comes in. He shot 39.9% from three last year. That's elite level shot making, especially when you look at Tyler Herro, someone who shoots kind of tough shots sometimes. He's able to hit tough shots. He's able to come off those screens and shoot the three ball, which is such a deadly weapon. It's so important when you're talking about that because the way the NBA teams defend the pick and roll, there's two ways to defend it. You either do a drop coverage where when the screener, so let's say you have Tyler Herro, Bam Adebayo on offense. On defense, you have Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. When Bam Adebayo comes and sets the screen on Marcus Smart, what Robert Williams can do is he can kind of drop back to where he's not allowing the roll man to do anything there, but he's also not allowing Tyler Herro to get a free reign to the basket. Now, the way to counter that is the way that the Warriors did against the Celtics in the finals. Steph Curry would come off that screen, and when Robert Williams or Al Horford would drop, Steph Curry would just pull the three. And that's where it starts to create problems where you then have to switch. And that's kind of the counter for that. You would switch that to where Robert Williams is now guarding Steph Curry and Marcus Smart's guarding Bam Adebayo. Now, you see in that scenario, you create clear mismatches. And so that's why it's so important to have versatile defenders, but also a guy like Tyler Herro on offense that's able to shoot off of that pick and roll, off of that screen there. So Tyler Herro creates a lot of mismatch problems. And if you look, another advanced stat here, but he was in the 96th percentile in shot quality, meaning that Tyler Herro gets himself quality looks for Tyler Herro because he's able to make a lot of those tough shots. He's able to get open looks off the screen there, and it's such a deadly weapon. It's such a deadly weapon. As a Celtics fan, saw it a couple years ago in the bubble when the Heat made the finals and they played the Lakers in the finals. Tyler Herro was really, really deadly in that series and made a big impact. And I think almost on that series alone, Tyler Herro deserves this contract. But let's back it up a little bit and let's look at the Heat as a whole. He clearly have been a contender the last few years. Obviously, not this year, but the year before they got beat up pretty bad by Milwaukee in the first round. But last year, made the Eastern Conference Finals. Year before, made the finals. So the Miami Heat, real contenders. In games that they win, they score 114 points. In games that they lose, they scored 99 points. That is a pretty significant gap, meaning that when the Miami Heat offense is on, they win games because they have an elite defense. If their offense is struggling, which it has a tendency to do, because like I talked about, they don't have a lot of elite shot creators. Shot creation is so important in the NBA. And that's when Tyler Herro goes out, it makes it tough because Kyle Lowry at this point in his career is not what he used to be. And then you have a lot of specialists. You have guys like Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, who can shoot the three ball, but not necessarily elite creators of the offense. And Victor Oladipo, we'll see what he does this year. But so they re-signed him, lost PJ Tucker. The only other real move was they added Nikola Jovic. Now, that's not Nikola Jokic. That is Nikola Jovic. And I couldn't tell you anything about his games because admittedly, I don't know if Nikola Jovic played college ball. I don't know if he played overseas or whatever. But Nikola Jovic was their big addition this year. Losing PJ Tucker, like I said, is a big deal for a team that is predicated on their defensive ability. To lose one of your big defenders really hurts. So here is the overall point when talking about the Miami Heat. The Eastern Conference is improving. The Celtics added Malcolm Brogdon. Now they have some off the court stuff with their coach. The Milwaukee Bucks added Joe Ingles, and PJ Tucker went to the Philadelphia 76ers. The Nets added Ben Simmons, Royce O'Neal, TJ Warren, and the Cavs added Donovan Mitchell. The Raptors are getting older, a little more experience when you're talking about Scotty Barnes, some of their young guys. Can the Heat keep up that same level they've been playing with these last few years? Or will we see a start to decline? When I talked about the Suns yesterday, I kind of expect the Suns to drop a couple seeds there. I don't think that they'll be that same level championship contender as the West gets more healthy. Now, all this is dependent on injury. I'm sure we'll have some major injury. I hope not, because basketball is better when all your stars are playing. But my expectation is that the Heat will drop a little bit. Meaning, last year they were the 1 seed. I wouldn't be shocked if this year they're the 4-5 seed, because I think, and I don't want to give my predictions, but I think Milwaukee will be a little better than them, and I think Boston will be a little better than them. Still up in the air to see from Cleveland, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia, but I think that you'll see a little step back from Miami from the PJ Tucker news. But super pumped. Be really exciting to watch. We'll give official predictions for all these teams, but I want to kind of break down some of their offseason moves and kind of what we're expecting in this season. Kind of break down Tyler Herro's game a little bit in this video. But please take a second to like and subscribe. We're going to keep grinding, keep growing. Cyborg out.